Now, the other thing that sometimes happens when you guys are dealing with stuff has to do with, like, there is a guy, he's on the internet, and he used to be the head of the Church of Satan, and then everybody was attacking each other. So he called out to Jesus, and when he called out to Jesus, hi Tina, welcome. He showed up and he helped him. And because he showed up and he helped him, he now makes videos with all the tattoos on his head and everything. And he just says, you know, this is who I was, this is who I am, and I'm gonna share this with you, which is nice. Because when people are so used to doing wrong, right? They're literally used to doing wrong, being mean, being evil, being the lowest frequency they possibly can. And believe it or not, sometimes that's why I teach the classes and came up with the tips, because I knew what I needed for my clients. I knew what I needed to save lives of people that have been harmed. I knew people think that, oh, you project, don't even use that vocabulary. Just use it Chinese medicine. Okay? They call it qi or blockages of qi. Other countries call it different things, but it's all life force energy. Some people would say the Holy Spirit, right? But it's about having a frequency that runs through you that washes out the trash. And then some people think being the trash gives them a superpower, especially if they are being low frequency, hiding and harming people and smiling in their face. What they don't understand is the kingdom of heaven is upon you. And Archangel Michael draws his sword. And we just say, thank you. And we keep our peace. Now, whatever your practice is, I know everybody's pantheon, everything everybody says, because I had clients. I helped people. 70 different kinds of magic, 18 different religions, 3 continents. So I was on 3 continents helping people. I had clients from 18 different religions, and I had clients and friends, 70 kinds of magic. So when people do stuff, they think they're not doing it. But my friends, they don't hide. They own who they are. They walk down the street looking like who they are and what they do. They don't smile in your face, make a lower level deal, and then show up and act like there's something else while trying to add chaos or conflict or harm. So what most people get used to is the game that they play. And what they get very angry about is when the game they play doesn't work like it normally works. Then they lose their cool. And what's the number 1 rule of Old Spain? What's the number 1 rule of Plato, Nietzsche, Freud, the great philosophers and the great Stoics? Don't lose your cool. So what happens is, when something is trying to orchestrate something's trying to orchestrate you into fear, they're just trying to be a part of your frequency. So far, it's almost halfway done, and it only took 35 minutes. So would have been the logical reason to stop and leave. Oh, it would be that. Yeah. Almost 3 months ago, they cut that hole and said they'll be back in an hour. Sometimes I forget how time is ticking. Because September is more than halfway done. But when we're used to harming people spiritually, share the live so we can encourage more people in case they're being targeted for chaos, in case something's trying to wear down their frequency, their hope, their joy, their faith, in case they've been through a lot and they don't know how to handle it and stay full, pure joy, full, pure love. You see, that's why I have a lot of clients. Well, I fix my clients 3 to 5 sessions, right? So I don't have clients that need me forever. I don't have clients that need me past that. But my clients still wanted to see me. So my clients started asking me to come up with like other classes and other retreats. Because once all the stuff that they already had to deal with is done, what happens is I give them tools so that nothing else can take them out, right? So like this oven door has been broken since I moved in. But when the building inspector told him to fix it, the workman came in and did something, so then the broiler wouldn't even work. Now the oven and the broiler seem related, but they work differently. But you would have to be, like, think of it scientifically, right? They're in the same spot, but they don't do the same thing, which meant I could reduce the fact that the oven, they're in the same spot, but they don't do the same thing, which meant I could reduce the fact that the oven door was broken and they were turning the entire kitchen into an oven, meaning the heat, right? And the fact that it takes long for the oven to heat up, so I just used the broiler. And sometimes when you find, I don't believe in coping mechanisms. Because what coping does is keep you in the poo-poo land, right? So it keeps you in the land of poo-poo, where the crap is flying, it's around you, and you're like, there's no place like home, and you click your heels, but you don't leave the crap. I'm talking change timelines, humans. So what you do instead is, like I said, I say God and Jesus. Not all my clients do, but they have never felt me. Church has felt me. Church felt me intensively. But not all church, and never God and Jesus, never failed me. So remember, when there's liquid, when there's food, there's some people that, like one of my friends, he handed me an ink pen, right? And he said, I cursed you. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, I cursed the pen, then I hand it to you. You can't just let anybody hand you anything. You have to learn the secrets. And I said, I'm not going to learn the secrets. I already know how to help you. So I'll use that. And he said, okay, so I'm looking up. And he said, and you cursed. And I said, I didn't curse. I never cursed. And then he started laughing. Because he know I was talking about cussing. And he was making fun of me for being such a goody two-shoes around them who are definitely not goody two-shoes on purpose. Right? So he's not goody two-shoes on purpose, and he has pride in it. And he's a friend that I love dearly. From years ago, I haven't seen him in forever. But like I see some of my friends are here in this. It's because they sensed what was being attempted. Now my students, I teach my students that. So we don't need to make phone calls. We don't need to do that kind of stuff. But when people are doing all their different ridiculousness, then they start paying for it immediately and intensely. And the next thing you do, they'll be lying and saying you do what they do. when really my clients did what they do, but they were my clients. I wasn't their client. So I teach them how to be able to look out for each other, how to communicate with each other, how to do this, because you don't always have the ability to make a phone call, but you do always have the ability to pray. Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining. Push out the live, share the live so we can keep inspiring other people in case they're targeting or people doing energy attacks or coming in with attachment, dirtying up your space, or meditating and praying and chanting and trying to do it. Or those of you who are online trying to help people with your spiritual gifts and they come into your lives and try to pollute the space or cause harm. Something's just plugging into them so they can, right? So what you do instead is you just, sometimes people come in because your frequency is high and people want some of that and they love it, right? But you don't let them eat it. You can just let them experience it. That's what a lot of people don't understand about chosen ones. Chosen ones spread love in the world just walking around. You don't have to steal their energy because they give it, which keeps the place from turning into a total just, darkness. And you don't understand also, darkness love chosen ones because chosen ones make the place nice and sparkly. And they always say, it's the grayscale, right? So really, really dark ones always say, it's the grayscale. Kind of like one of my sorority sisters, before my sorority sisters made fun of my daughter's kidnapping, right? Showed their envy. Their quote was, it's about time something bad happened to you, princess, right? About a 2.5-year-old being kidnapped in SRA. So, but one of them that I love dearly since I was 17, 18, and 18. And she was already a grown woman when I met her. And I was talking about dark and light and realizing like this guy that I used to date. And he always say, I think you got cross-pollination, your vocabulary changed, right? Because I knew words that he knows my parents wouldn't want me to know about, lifestyles, like the stuff I teach and the stuff, right? And so I was laughing. And so I was talking about dark people being too dark to go here, too dark to do this and this stuff, right? And so I was laughing. And so I was talking about people being too dark to go here, too dark to do this. And she literally thought I was talking about skin tone. And I didn't realize it until the next day when God told me. And I was like, oh, I have to find my Sorodana to explain to her that I haven't thought of skin tone as a part of the world in 28 years, 29 years. I meant frequency. Thank you, Kate and Kevin, for joining. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Appreciate you being here. May you be full of divine love and light. We're talking about and push it out so that we can help people if they're being targeted or orchestrated things are happening to change their frequency. So if people are smiling in their face and polluting their space, or if people are projecting or sending or just blatant, right? These are the tips that I taught my clients for 28 years of how to not be further victimized, because my clients are all already victims, SRA and incest and things like that. So what they do is they come and I'm just like, oh, that's okay, we'll fix it. That's okay, we got this, right? So what would happen is sometimes you might be just in the PTA or a soccer mom, and maybe you've been through something that other soccer moms haven't been through. So the other soccer mom's not even gonna understand if they know your background. So then you have to live with a little shame that you don't know your brain registers as shame, which drops your frequency, which makes them kind of be like dogs on a bone. So they register that. Then they start trying to be making you ashamed because you have a vibration of shame matching. So we fix that. So when somebody is blatantly like this, agency orchestrated for me to be moved to a building where people spiritually, physically, and energetically harm people for 32 years, and trash the building, predatory, come to your home once a month at certain times where the moon is brighter, or portals or whatever, right? So they knew all that, and then they figured, oh, she's Christian, I'll move her there. But number one, I grew up in church, but you will never hear me say, oh, I'm Christian. I believe in Christ. I believe in Jesus. I believe in church. But I've been to some churches that were racist, and I've been to some churches that were wonderful. And so I say God and Jesus. I like to go to church every day if I can. Definitely every Sunday, right? And so what people didn't get was I didn't judge them no matter what they did. I had already spent 28 years healing people like them. I had already spent my whole life with church looking at me like, don't help them, they're evil. And I was like, God said help everyone. Didn't you read your Bible? Right? So, thank you, Ruth. We need a Bible person here. We need somebody praying because some people been coming in chanting. Some people have been making phone calls, trying to make attachments. We're looking at live of, it came out in the news that our landlords have 32-year history of spiritually attacking and physically causing chaos in people's homes and abusing elders and the handicap. And so this is what it looked like for those of you who are new. See that? They flooded our building for 75 hours and flooded my apartment. 75 hours, 3.5 days. It was pumping like a national disaster, to the tune of the speed of the water was a gallon every 3 to 5 minutes. I know because I even put it to see. And it was nonstop for 75 hours at that rate. And then in order to hurt the people who they already harmed by flooding it on purpose and saying they're going to get a tax write-off, they then came in and did stuff like break the faucet. That's what those marks are. This is not the faucet that was there. Just, it's on video. Just come in, hold it, wiggle it, break it. It was just hanging down like that because they were upset that the building inspector said they had to replace this sink, and some other things that were wrong, that their building has black mold. Then it came out that they've been doing this to people for 32 years to be evil, to add evil into the tenants' lives and to like harvest them and harm them and keep them trapped. And so what happened, thank you for joining, share the live so we can help more people not lose their faith or their hope. Thank you. Thank you for being here. So what they kept doing was coming in and doing stuff to cause chaos in your home. So just imagine if your home is clean and your home is beautiful, they come in and break something. Your home is clean, your home is beautiful. They have a history of plumbing problems for 20 years, but they lie and say, like one of my neighbors, her bathtub kept filling up with feces. For anybody who doesn't know feces, that's number 2 poo. And it was the poo from everybody in the building going up their pipes into their bathtub, filling up the bathtub and the shower in multiple apartments. They left it like that happening to people for 3 months and laughed about it. And laughed about their ability to do whatever they want. It wasn't like people thought they said it. They came by our homes unannounced at the full moon and did it multiple times. So they'll come by once or twice a month at some time when the moon is really high and bright and big, do some crazy thing to your belongings or break something in your apartment. So after they were supposed to replace this, instead of replacing it, the flooding started, and so it was flooding 19 places in our building, and they laughed about it. And then after that, they were written up for that. This is before I knew they've been getting away with it for 32 years. So these are years that I had no working water in my kitchen for almost 70 days now. So because the building inspector made them shut off the flooding, they came in unannounced in the evening the next day and cut this hole in my walls about 4 feet and something, and then said they're gonna fix it in an hour. That's been almost 3 months. And then they came by unannounced, and then they started writing fake 24-hour notices, like a 24-hour notice, but it's give you 3 hours and stick it, or write a 24-hour notice, but backdate it by 3 days. Like they were doing some stuff, but not coming and not fixing anything. But they would come in to like energetically pollute and add stuff, negativity, right? So thank you for joining. I've had clients of all practices because I help survivors of incest, SRA, and extreme abuse as a child. Boys and girls who, by the time they come to me, they're usually men and women. But also I've helped like little kids that it was happening to. So these are the kind of tips and clues of how you deal with things that have attachments that get a certain thrill from harming you, because my move here was orchestrated. It was orchestrated by an agency that was supposed to make sure that I had a safe place to live after I had paid to live an ad that I found on a university campus, which is even scarier because usually their victim would have been like between 18 and 21. And then they came in and started doing like rituals live, even though they knew I had cameras. Like you could see them performing rituals, hear them because the cameras had audio. It got like 44,000 views. And these were like lawyers, dentists, like the people that were doing it. And they also had a girl that was assigned to do it, had a different practice. So people with 9 different practices plus them, and it was on the cameras. And they were like, move the cameras around, laugh at the cameras, dance in front of the camera, right? While they're doing this. So it's not even like left up to wonder. It literally was people that were spiritually polluted, and then people who made deals, because that means like you did it on purpose. And I have friends like that. I had clients like that where after whatever trauma they went through, they made a deal so that nothing else could show up and hurt them. So they made a deal so that they could be something bigger than the evil that hurt them. So I never judge my clients. My clients all know. Hi, Vapor, the kingdom of heaven has come nearer to you. Thank you for being here. May the warring angels meet your feet on every road. So what happens is, because I don't judge and because I helped everybody, I'm the mom of a kidnapped kid. And so what I did was I helped everybody what the doctor said was happening, what her body said was happening, specialists. There were so many people involved, so there was no doubt about it happening. Plus, my neighbor saw something so horrific. She told me before, this was going to traumatize you, but something so horrific that she sold her house and moved. Do you know how traumatizing what you see happening next door is so traumatizing that you sell your house? Not only did she sell her house and moved, she got her family out of the house and they lived in a hotel until the house sold. They refused to go back home. That's what she saw. Got it? So these people were supposed to have moved me, and they figured to give me an entanglement and move me to a place, and this is that place. I used my money to move to that place. Plus, they stole my money that I presented a letter as, you know, like when you're moving or something, you need to show proof of income. Well, I help people. I reprogram their brains and just neuroscience and the scientific use of frequency, but not woo-woo. And then also I'm a profiler. Stop, pedophiles and things like that. So make the world a better place is what I usually say. Well, I used a letter showing that I was getting a check for $25,000 in order to move. So they had me move in, but it turned out so that they could steal my stuff and then steal the money. And so they're on camera going in, stealing $29,000 out of my closet in the locked house in my locked room. And then when they did all the sales and stuff, that's also on camera. And it's on the camera showing that they're chanting, putting bloody, prepared, different stuff all around, announcing to each other what it is, cackling and laughing, more chanting, laughing at the camera, dancing in front of the camera. So my mom used to call it, they were just having a funky good time, right? So sometimes people don't get it. If they say God and Jesus and they go to church, but they're racist, or they're classist, or they're cold-hearted, or they're selfish, they're just as evil as the people that they're judging. But when people are evil and what they're doing is orchestrated and they know that they're being evil, they always think you're stupid. So one of the tips I'm going to teach you guys today, tomorrow we'll just go into the whole tips of the class, but we needed to do this live because of the purposeful flooding and then the purposeful torment. And the owners, just in case you think it's personal, it's frequency. Because if you look up evil landlord San Francisco, they will come up, right? Their last name is Lau, L-A-U. They will come up and you'll see that they have 32 years of doing this to people. And then they always lie on the tenant. But they lied on the same lie on a tenant 32 years ago and 20 years ago and last year and 3 months ago and 5 months ago. Every time somebody moves in or moves out, they tell the same lie while they're torturing the people while they're there, because they're not torturing them to get them to leave. They like harvesting the energy. They like torturing the people that are innocent. So they want you to move in. And then they want to torture you. So the agency that moved me here knew that, and they moved me here for sport so that I could be surrounded by different types of people that misuse energy to torture other people and thought it would be entertaining. What happened is spiritually, I helped all those people, over 121,000 people, of 70 types of magic, 18 religions, and different practices and different bloodlines. So they started doing physical stuff because their spiritual attacks, where they usually just smile in your face and do the spiritual stuff, was not working, right? It was making me maybe a little tired or something like that. So when I would still have a smile on my face, then they would do extra, like financial attacks, steal my house, like on my own because I lost my house in the wildfires, or not go after things you're supposed to, like illegal stuff that was illegal during the worldwide emergency. So they just kept doing that kind of stuff. And what would happen is they start getting hit with stuff. Then liars aren't logical. So they'll lie to your face because they think you're too stupid to see that they're evil. They usually think it's your first evil rodeo. So what you do is, if you don't lose your frequency, you keep your frequency high, their goal is to lower your frequency. So when I teach my students, it's more like, call them hungry hippos. Don't call them energy vampires. Call them hungry hippos. Because if you call them energy vampires, your brain has subconscious attachments to maybe vampire movies or vampire books or vampire series, right? But hungry hippos, that's the game. So then your subconscious gets attached to the fact of it's a game. Your subconscious knows it's a game, and they know that it's a game that you control. It's a game that you can win, right? So when I say stuff as a neuroscientist, I reprogrammed SRA survivors. I reprogrammed the most extreme, crazy abuse that happened to people, right? So when you look at like tables around my house, they're full of things from my retreats or the theme of a book. You see? So they don't make sense to other people in a normal world because maybe you didn't read that book or maybe you didn't take that class or maybe, right? So for them, the stuff that people have been getting away with, and they're like, people just be doing whatever. No, not all people are people. They aren't getting away with whatever they want. They aren't doing whatever they want. They're doing what their evil butts normally do. But it's like boring evil butts. So not like bloodline evil butts where they might be like a little cute or they might be more sophisticated in what they do. They're just used to being evil, doing magic or something like that while smiling in your face. And I've had so many magical clients. Imagine helping 70 types of magic. Most people don't even know 70 types of magic, even if they do magic, right? So they orchestrated for me to be here so that I would be isolated, because when you spend your life helping victims of SRA and you stop multimillionaire pedos, like, you know, a couple people that got in trouble this year and a few people that got very public a couple years ago, then you self-isolate. And I don't mean like you don't know people. I see people all the time. But you don't hang tight with certain friends or certain types of people. And the reason that you don't hang tight with them is you don't want them to get caught in the crosshairs of blacklist or a blackball, or them to be energetically polluted. And so now your best friend is the thing hurting you, right? So you like, for me, it's like, I have friends, but I don't have friends that I see all the time, because the friends I knew growing up, when I moved and left for college, they moved to other towns. And so it was just a matter of literal geography distance. But my other friends, it became stuff like, don't help them. And I was like, look, we were raised in church. There's no way that says you only help people like you. It's like, why do you think the stories are in there? It's like God's resume. But church sometimes lie or cheat or gossip or racist, right? So I wasn't saying deal with hypocrisy. What I was saying was everybody has free will. That means I don't get to decide how they use their free will. But I helped people. I made the world a better place. That's what I wanted to do. And I didn't want my family at risk over that. Like, there were some people in my family that deserved for me to like never speak to them again after my daughter was kidnapped, by basically gloating about their envy. And now they felt good that I was suffering. But the people that did that, I even said thank you. That's a Japanese trick. So a Japanese spiritual trick, and I don't mean woo-woo, it helps you protect your subconscious. It's just, you say thank you. Whatever somebody's doing, you say thank you. If they're mean and evil, you say thank you. If they break your heart, you say thank you. If they, like, I've had my houses stolen, houses I own, houses I built. I've had my cars stolen, right? So many things, because those things happen because something is trying to get you to change your frequency. They want another hopeless person in the world. They want another unhappy person in the world. They want another unkind person in the world. So what they do is they try to get you to lower your frequency. So today's setup was, they were gonna, how they made that hole in the wall, they're gonna come here and rip up the floor and leave the trash and go, and probably not come back for 3 more months. But you and I are having a meeting. So if you go back and review it, you'll see that. But that's a pattern. And so that's one of the reasons they took classical literature out of school, One of the reasons they took classical literature out of school is so you didn't know that's how stories end, that villains have a pattern and they work that way. So I don't teach my students woo-woo. My students already know woo-woo. And I have so many students with woo-woo, right, that I can say, oh, don't do that, do this, right? No, I teach my students stuff to recognize patterns that evil are doing and how to not cope with it, how to not lower your frequency. So you don't just say, oh, back to sender. Why? Now you're playing that game? Don't give it back to sender. There's so many better things you can do with that, right? Welcome, Leech. The kingdom of heaven is with you. May the warring angels join you wherever you are, now and always. So when people realize, they didn't realize my audience would be full of everybody. My audiences would be full of 18 different kinds of religions, right? Because to me, a Lutheran is a different Christian than a Baptist. But a Buddhist is a different religion than both of them. So when I say 18, I literally mean there's probably 50 types of religion, but I've only had 18 of those as clients. So at first, when I moved here, part of the setup is they knew I would be surrounded by everybody who hated me for loving God. And they made sure that none of those people knew that I had spent 28 years saving the lives of people just like them. So the next thing was my refrigerator did not work. My refrigerator was 65 degrees inside, which meant when you put food in it, it spoiled the food. And because the people stole the $29,000 out of my closet, the people have been performing the rituals, which you can watch on video, whole entire rituals with audio, right? Well, when I'm teaching, especially at a festival, I'm only going where I'm spiritually told yes or no. I'm not just going to go to any old place, right? I only go and then I help everybody. I don't judge. I help everybody that I'm told to help. Not everybody who approach, which is why I had to start learning that some monsters like you if you sparkly and bright. So yeah, I got a whole fan club of monsters because they just like, you're so beautiful, marry me, you're so sparkly, right? And then you're like, well, God says I'm not gonna like that, right? And other times I'm like, okay, we could be friends, or okay, you're cute too. Because people's bloodlines, they don't get to determine their bloodlines. People don't get to decide their bloodlines. Sometimes parents make a deal before you even have a voice. But other times you are born and that's just who and what you are. So I did not change teams, but I did not ostracize, because when you do that, you lower your frequency. And when people want to see frequency, it's not just fruits of the spirit. It is when you go to a church and they talk about energy harvesting and deliverance, why are people harvesting energy? Because the lightest, best, yummy, abundant, wealthy frequency is divine and love, right? So you can't stay at love if you're in racism. You can't stay at love if you're judging, right? Judging anybody for anything. So I'm not saying hang out with them. I'm definitely not saying do what they do. I am saying that just how they had a pattern of come in and break stuff and leave it broken to add chaos to my house because they couldn't lower the frequency, this would have been a pile of stuff. I'll show you the pile of stuff. You see? Because once they came in without the proper appointment, of course, and with fake paperwork to try to pretend like they did, but that's a pattern they did for 20, 30 years. So they tried to break the floor. For those of you who just joined, this floor was like this because they flooded my apartment for 75 hours on purpose. And I don't mean dripping water. I mean flooding like a national disaster. Water gushing, moving to the point where you could hear it, a gallon of water every 3 to 5 minutes, flooding. I had to spend 75 hours fortifying it like I was in a national disaster flood, changing the stuff, changing out cardboard. But if I didn't pray and if I didn't have my spiritual gifts, I might not have known what to do. But what I did do is what you should always do. Never lose your cool. When I say don't lose your cool, that's very 1970s. So think of it this way. You guys are calling it crash out. When you crash out, something evil that's in you or around you takes over, then you run around with anger and chaos. That thing gets to be part of you more because you're being part of it more. Does that make more sense to you? So did I freak out when somebody came and tracked mud on my good clean floor? Did I? No. Did I freak out when they came and cut this hole and said they're going to fix it 3 months ago? That hole didn't need to be cut. They needed to see what was going on and fix it. But they refused for 2 months to look. Then they came because they were mad because the building inspector told them they had to get a licensed plumber and fix it. They didn't because the leak's not in my apartment. The leak is within their walls. And if you Google and look up evil landlord San Francisco or Nevada, and now the UK even has it. I didn't put it there. They have 32-year history of doing this to people. So for the last maybe 5 or 6 months, people who they've done it to for decades or months or years all have been writing and getting coverage to say these people are doing this. Well, the extra noise, that's anger, because they were just going to leave it undone. Like they left that for all these months when they said they're cutting it and they'll do it in an hour. It's all on the recording of them saying they have to come unannounced. They always come unannounced during a full moon or some kind of metaphysical cycle. Then they mutter around. Sometimes they leave like a little bag or something in a cabinet. But it wasn't working. So they started trying to add physical chaos, because usually when people do spiritual chaos, what they try to do is disrupt your space, so it disrupts your frequency, or they try to disrupt your body with their thoughts or whatever, right? So what happened is, what people didn't understand was, if they do something while smiling in your face, they owe even a greater spiritual debt than if they're blatant. Like I know people, and I've had clients, and from teaching at festivals and stuff like that, I've had people where maybe we were all paid to be characters at a festival, right? Or you come up with a theme for the festival. Well, guess what? Some of those people, that was their real lifestyle. And they don't go around sneaking and doing stuff to people. They don't. They do stuff to people or they don't do stuff to people, but they dress like it no matter what they do, right? But what we had here was people who hired people that they knew did stuff that was evil to hurt and intimidate the residents. And then they damage stuff in the building on purpose and then say they're just going to use it as a tax write-off. So what was happening is my client knew that something happened to those people because they had SRA happen to them, right? So for them, it wasn't a question of, did I think evil was real? They knew evil was real. And some of them were now evil in their practices, but they still wanted to get rid of the evil that had been put in them without permission. And so I had to teach things like, don't let evil transmute you without your permission. Like if something happens to you when you're little and then you turn yourself into something so you can be bigger and better so you can protect yourself, then part of that's your choice. But if they never did that, you might not have made that choice. So first I needed to give them an example of me not making the choice. Not after my daughter's kidnapping, not after different spiritual attacks, not after people stealing my house, right? Imagine owning 3 houses and 22 acres of land, and people think if they steal them one at a time, they're going to steal your soul. So my client choices taught me a lot, and God told me a lot on how to help them because of my spiritual gifts. Thank you guys for being in here. Share the live so that we can inspire more people in case they're being have people orchestrating things to affect their frequency or their vibe or their emotions. I know a lot of people, they will sign into when we're having like workshop lives, which I'll do for you guys tomorrow, where it's just strictly like do this exercise, do this tip, do this, say this. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. But today, somebody decided that they were going to come into my home to disrupt the energy because they didn't do spiritual stuff, and that wasn't working enough. So they had to bring some attachments with them. And I would say like this in each person: the kingdom of heaven has come nearer to you, and you will be amazed. He taught me that phrase. Yeah. But when people are trying to bring chaos, when people aren't even people, right? Where they smile in your face and do evil and then smirk and brag about it to try to pump fear. The reason they try to pump fear is because some people don't just harvest energy. Some people love to eat anger, fear, envy, and doubt. So if you're somebody who they can disrupt your home or something like that, cause chaos, cause hardship, and then joke about it in your face, then when you get mad, they get mad, right? So you get mad because you know they're not supposed to do it because it's immoral, it's illegal, it's all that type of stuff. Well, when I became Chinese medicine doctor, I already had my gifts and I was brought up in church from the time I was born. So to me, all that meant was energy blocks make people have illnesses or can. Why does the same activity not harm everybody it happens to? But I was going to school to be a neuroscientist doctor long before I went to Chinese medicine school. Chinese medicine school happened in the middle because God brought it to me on a life circumstance, right? I had a car accident. Western medicine said I was never going to walk again. Like Western medicine literally said, you will never walk again. We're fitting you for a custom cane and just get used to like crawling on the ground and get your keys and stuff like that, right? So guess what? Two things happened. I went to a chiropractor. He was a total quack. He hurt my body worse. And so what happened was he sent me to his masseuse, is what he called it. And I walked out of there after that treatment, carrying the cane on my arm, and I didn't even know. So the masseuse said, Mia, look. And I looked, and I was carrying the cane. And I said, how did you do that? And he said, oh, I went to Chinese medicine school. So then I went to Chinese medicine school. So guess what? After healing myself, I went to Chinese medicine school. I wasn't healed. I still couldn't walk. I used to crawl up the stairs to get to school. I used to crawl up the stairs to go to my classes. I used to have to lay on pillows. So coming in and dirtying up my house, coming in and cutting holes in the wall, coming in and doing stuff like that to try to lower my frequency will not work. So what they do is they send people with a low frequency inside. And then they pollute up the space, right? So the ones that came over the last 18 months, they, like I said, chanted in their heads, chanted out loud, made phone calls, had people cast spells over the phone, hid stuff in cabinets. Now, luckily, I was raised to keep a very clean house, right? So I clean my cabinets, most of them every week, some of every 2 weeks. And so I would find stuff, be like, where'd this come from? And that's when I figured out the orchestration, because my neighbors started moving. My neighbors that moved in new were moving. The neighbors who had been old that moved said, thank you, Mia. Whatever you did made it so we can finally move out of here. We've been stuck, right? And so they had been doing all kind of spiritual practices to help them move. But somebody was doing spiritual practices to keep them stuck, because keeping them stuck made it fun energy to harvest and mess with, right? And so they came by and explained that to me, but I didn't know that. So finally, when 6 people come to you and say they have all different spiritual practices, and you realize you're the only one that's not doing any type of anything, then it's like, oh, and they put me right in the middle of all of it. So none of it was on accident. So having a broken stove and a broken refrigerator from the day you moved in, that was not an accident. That's why for 18 months they didn't replace the refrigerator. And as soon as they had to replace the refrigerator, then they flooded the apartment. Then they broke the faucet. There's videos of that. And there's videos of their workmen holding up the building inspector's report, going line by line and said, and we're not fixing that. And they said, don't fix this. And so they literally went through flipping the stuff. Thank you for those of you who joined. May you be covered in the blood of Jesus. And you guys share it out in case somebody else is trying to target. And those of you trying to do a little something, I hope you enjoy what you do because it's going to belong to you. Sometimes people need to pay attention, or I say sometimes people need to realize the evil you made a deal with does not like you. Meaning it knows what's going to happen, but it doesn't care what happens to your body because it's just going to go in another body. I learned that from my clients. My clients didn't tell me, I told them. I learned that from helping my clients because they made deals to protect themselves, and then they just ended up in something they called witch wars because other witches attack them. And then they get a different deal so they can attack better. Back and forth, till you just have so many pollutions, so many attachments, and you still be in a war. Still attaching. So what happens is when people don't realize that because you're quiet, you by yourself, you're shiny, right? So they think you are prey, Prey, instead of you Pray. But I don't judge. When I say I don't judge, what I mean is this. Thank you, Jamie, for joining. You guys share out the live in case somebody's orchestrating energetic attacks or lowering the frequency of people and they're having a hard time dealing with it. These are secrets and tips that I learned, and I didn't learn them from other people. I learned from helping 121,000 people that were survivors of incest and SI. Told me after about 15 years that a lot of them had different magical practices. So 70 types of magic, I've saved their lives. And I just always say, make the world a better place. So I was making the world a better place. Somebody flooded my apartment and left my floor in complete shambles. But it wasn't a normal flooding. It was 75 hours of filling up a 7-inch lake. And I was having to fortify like a national disaster. I put newspaper and cardboard, and then I would walk and go get more. And they thought this was funny. But when I kept walking and go get more, and then there was no more, then I took the bus and got more, right? And I kept on for 75 hours, and they were laughing because they were telling me they're laughing. I would see them laughing. I don't think they were laughing. They were laughing. And then they kept it going. And then finally, the building inspector's office came and cited them for it. So they came in. But this is stuff they've been doing to people for 32 years. But they try to defame the character of the tenant. But the agency that was supposed to find me a good place to live orchestrated all of this and made sure I was all surrounded by people like that. But I have written 32 or 36 books because I did a children's series. And it's all just different practices, different systems, different ways to view the world. I don't mean like different types. I mean tip after tip after tip, story after story after story of what you can live through and not let it break you, because I'm telling you, so many people try to break me. Imagine you own 3 houses and 22 acres of land and somebody steals each house. Imagine you build tiny houses that you can teach at festival and help people no matter what their religion or their magical practice. Imagine them coming in and breaking your faucet on purpose because they flooded the building for 75 hours to ruin your apartment, and there's so many things they didn't ruin everything in your apartment. So they come in and break the kitchen faucet and just have it hanging there. You see? So all of that. And then imagine coming and and destroying stuff after leaving it broken for months and months, and then say, oh, I'm gonna fix it. And then they come in, destroy stuff, make a chaos, right? Make a big mess so that you can't decorate. Normally, this part of my kitchen that we're seeing right now, I made it look like a store, like 1800s sewing room. Like if you went to buy fabric in the 1800s at a general store. So it had like little fake stuff, and then it had real stuff that I really sewed, and then all the sewing machines and everything, right? So imagine they come in and see that. So ruin it. And then I was still smiling. So then they had the guy cut the wall. And then I was still smiling. So they had somebody come and then rip everything up, then leave a big trash pile, then leave and leave it there for 3 months. So this has been 20 months. 20 months of people doing this. After 6 weeks of people coming every day, casting spells in my house, on the cameras with video and audio. One of the video have 44,000 views, and you can hear the whole audio, and you can see them put all the ritual and stuff all around. Well, guess what? I spent 28 years helping people who had that same type of practice or whatever survivors were. I still help them. So yeah, come in, dirty my house, I'll sweep the floor. Come in, oh, now I don't have water in the kitchen, I just use the bucket. So whatever I make adjustment to keep my frequency, if they're a line pusher, which means they're evil, but their demon doesn't like them. What that means is it knows it'll just jump into another body, right? So they're supposed to change that. That's not dirt. That's because most of the places here have black mold. If you look up on the internet and you look evil landlord San Francisco, you'll see the owner. You'll see the owners, and they brag about doing stuff, and they come personally, especially if full moon or something. No announcement, just knock on the door, walk through, chant, mutter, say stuff, drop something on the floor, right? And then leave. They've been doing this to people for 32 years. So the one trick where you say, thank you so much, no matter what somebody's doing, you're saying to their soul, I'm not going to have attachments with you. That's what the number one you're saying. You say, thank you for walking through this video game. Thank you for being a character in the game. Now, what am I going to learn from this character? Maybe the character is going to learn something from me, like, don't do this, right? Like, don't start none, won't be none. Or maybe they learn something like, if you feel froggish, right? Gen X, those are jokes for you. Everyone else is just, it's a way to keep your peace when you know somebody's trying to steal your peace. And so they use the energetic attacks to steal your peace or feed on fear. So one thing is like anger, fear, envy, doubt, unforgiveness, jealousy is like caviar to some types of things because it's energy and it's heightened. It's not high level energy, but it's strong, right? So they don't care if they make you mad. They don't care if you yell and scream. They don't care if you do what is the crash out, right? They want you to crash out because if you crash out, you're not even controlling you. You have something else like fly into you, come into you. That thing uses your body, causes devastation in your life because whatever you crashed out, you broke, and you're going to have to suffer physically or spiritually for the damage you caused. Even if you do it to a villain because you let something come and ride your space. See, when people make deals, they have a different vocabulary. And so church would say possession or attachment, but people that make deals would call it ride your space. And sometimes they invite people to ride their space that day, right? And some people, they ride your space your whole life. But what they know is no matter what they bring into your life, like all this black mold in the rest of the building, some people whole kitchen made of black mold. You see that mark right there? That's where they broke the faucet on purpose on camera. You can watch that video too. Bang, slide underneath. But guess what? Guess what God did? Guess what peace did? Guess what staying loving and kind did? If you Google that name, The UK, I didn't tell the UK, but the UK somehow picked up a story, did a story, show 32 years of history doing this. Then Nevada, same thing. Same people did the same thing in the state of Nevada. Then San Francisco disclosed 32 years of this. And then guess what? People start going on the internet. Same pattern that they lie and say is each tenant. Guess what happened? State of Nevada spar this, the next thing spark the next thing spar off. So now you got a whole sparring match where people are on there going, that was my first landlord when I first came. They did that to me 20 years ago, 29 years ago, 28 years ago, 32 years ago. Yet right now they lying on a new person. But my move here was orchestrated by an agency. Got it? It's for me to be susceptible to all the frequency they try to surround me with. But if you look at this old Eddie Murphy movie and you watch that movie, yeah, they tried to surround somebody like that, but the Guardian showed up and it didn't work. But lots of stuff happened to all the people. While the one that the Guardian is protecting just play at goodness and light. Until final flick of the finger, right? So when you're looking, thank you, Empress, for joining. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Wakato. So the secret that happens, right, is if everybody stops judging everybody and people realize everybody is energy, frequency is everything, then it doesn't matter. Thank you, Empress. Then we get what everybody needs. Whatever you practice, whatever you believe in, whatever you do, guess what? When you do that, it is more pleasant for light, dark, whatever. I try not to say that because I know so many people, my goodness, maybe 30,000, maybe 50,000, where it's their bloodline. It's just who they are. It's just how they're made, right? But imagine the chaos. Somebody came to about chaos, cousin, a couple, they figure that's going to lower your frequency. Chaos usually lowers most people's frequency, but it does not lower everybody's frequency. No. Because if you learn that everything is energy and treat people that encounter like they are, qu'est-ce que ça dit in English? Characters in the video game, but you're not the game player, you're the game master, and that you have the choice to call the thing that everybody knows, stop the villains in the game, then only call it villains like classical literature, not the hero, right? And then realize that villains have a pattern, then villains get away with whatever, but it hurts the villains. See, what people think is the villain is the one that tortures you. No, villains torture themselves. I have some clients, they get tortured so much. Yes. Not the SRA survivors, not the survivors who live I saved more than 121,000, but the ones that try to push energy into the space of a chosen one or innocent or good. Because you know why? I get so many thank you gifts. That's why you see like little scripts, or like my students will show up in a live, or my students will like show up, somebody hop somewhere, and then my students hop right there, like no, right? Because 70 type of magic students, which means I have helped probably whatever attacking me, I might have saved the life of the whole being or entity they're worshiping, or the children, you see? Thank you. So when people don't have a spiritual gift and they made a deal, they might get misled. So people that don't know, these people been doing this for 32 years to people. You're going to listen to the lie they tell you about somebody you never met, which as a profiler, one time there was like a pedo and he was getting in trouble, and like a corrupt school district that wasn't teaching poor kids on purpose. There have been a few times, and they were trying to like ask me questions as the expert or the profiler that compiled the evidence or something like that, right? And so I have rules. I never, ever, ever profile people that are put upon people, meaning if people are oppressed and racism against them, I never profile for that. I just stop like the pedophiles. And so when you think of it, so much stuff. So imagine saying that you come to fix something and then leave it broken, but make sure that you add chaos and leave it worse. Just imagine. Don't you think the universe shows up for that? The universe doesn't just show up for that, it shows out. And you don't even have to. So your job, just don't drop your frequency. Stay love. Do you know why the Japanese thing is to say thank you? Even to the villain, break your heart. Even to the narcissist that show up that thought they were fooling you. You let them fool you. When I teach that class, guess what it's called? How to get rid of a narcissist in 36 hours or less. Because instead of being stuck with their energetic attachment and all the craziness that a narcissist does, you just let them fool you. It goes faster. If you show resistance, they come up with new games. So you just be the dumbest person on the planet to the narcissist. Oh, okay, right? And the whole time you plotting nothing. You stay love. They're going to keep upping the game. And the dumber they think you are, the faster they're going to move and show their self to be pure evil mask. Not bloodline sexy evil. More like the monster doesn't have to pretend because you're so stupido. Right? So be stupid, yes. So then they show themselves faster. So then they can go away. Oh, thank you for the I heart you. Please share, you guys, so we can help more people in case something trying to wear them down or lower their frequency with the chaos or sending energy, smiling in their face, acting like it's not them. Because patterns end. That's why it's in the news, right? That's why it's in the news with 32 years of doing it to people. But every person lie and say it's the person. Announcing brand new appliances and then buying old broken ones and put them in people's house. Leave people without a refrigerator for 18 months, 65 degrees inside the refrigerator. That means when you put your food in the refrigerator is hotter than a sauna. It's hotter than a sauna. That means it spoils your food. The food would last longer sitting on the counter. Yeah. And then laugh about it. And then when you have to replace it after 18 months of people telling you to replace it because you didn't just have the human decency. You know what human decency means? It's just like humanity. When you have human decency, it's hard to lower your frequency. So even if you did something kind of bad where society might say is bad, right? It'll rinse it off. If you have human decency, you have like a little self-cleaning mechanism. But if you don't have basic kindness and you just selfish and eating people chi and dumping your negative energy and harming people and smiling, nothing's going to clean you. Even if you steal energy, you're still going to be dark and evil and ugly. At least if you're going to be evil, be like sexy evil. Be like evil in Armani. Be like, you see? But no, why be so boring? Why be basic? Like there's this cute video of a little girl. She's adorable. And she is like 3 or 4 years old. And she's walking. And she has on these little fake plastic high heels. Like, you know, when you're little and they have it in a little play dress up kit. And she has a little purse, but probably like an old granny purse because it's like really big. But it's that shape like a granny would wear on the forearm and not the shoulder. And she's walking. And then she's saying, don't be basic. Right? So don't be basic lower level thinking that people don't see your evil butt while you're sending to telepathy or anything else where you might not even know the vocabulary, but I do because 121,800 and something lives saved, survivor SRA students, yes, 70 types of magic. The people that teach them the magic, Christians, Buddhists,
Catholic, Lutheran, Presbyterian, necromancer, Naga, so many vocabulary, right? But guess what? They just want to know how to have some peace and love. The biggest monster, even the biggest narcissist, is like almost like a big dragon that wish they had true love, and you just be nice and loving. So they have something to trust. So they can kind of transmute a little. But they're not going to transmute total because it's their bloodline. Right? They are the thing. But every creature wants some love, which is why they be stealing your light. Because they either jealous of it, but they more so know that you are like the poker chip in the game of life. They can get stuff with your energy. They can get more blessings, right? So this is for you guys to know. The secrets are joy. The secret are peace. The secret, and I don't mean that in like some other way. I mean like it's a weapon, right? Like it's a sword. Love, peace, joy, gratitude. People come, they came to do evil. They came to add chaos. They came to do mischief. They came covered in nasty attachments, pollute your house. But I'm glad my students, they feel it. Because what some people don't understand is not everybody practices to stir a pot or to summon. Some people are just a thing. And some people, because they glow so sparkly and bright, other things come up and go, oh, I would love to protect you, because they want some brownie points for doing something good. Other people, they want you to have love and peace, because the smarter you are and the more you glow and shine so bright, that means they're not living in hell. They already escaped from hell. They don't want to be in another place feel like hell, just mean, evil, nasty, dirty, low frequency. They want to experience some high frequency. They want to eat food that make them feel good, not just eat the most expensive food they can find. Do you know how hollow that is to realize that you reach a point where you have everything except for your soul? You see, you got billions and billions, you got houses, cars, you got everything, but nobody you can trust, and nobody that really love you, and nobody that have your back, and all kind of stuff attached to you. And guess what? When you're like that and stuff attached to you, guess what you end up with? The most evil. You end up with the evil that won. you see what I mean? So you might have made some deals along the way. You might have done some deeds along the way. You might have man-whored yourself or sex demon yourself through life. And you got all that attachment and all that dirt. Even if you leave the trash, you still owe the payment. Even if you recycle bin some girl, that's why I always say, never trust anybody that have like a wife and the wife tell you to cheat with them, because they both know they invite, stealing your energy vampires, and dumping. So you the trash receptacle. You're not the side chick. You guys need to replace that vocabulary with correct energetics. So what you do instead is you shine and you glow and you say thank you. It's a villain just hurt you, laugh in your face. You don't get mad, because then you feed them. You say thank you. Then they get confused. The universe shows up and goes, oh, we got this. And the universe handles that. Because the one thing that people don't really want is for you to handle it. That's why people that come up, oh yeah, they know you the one to handle it. Why you think they're attacking you? They know you the one to handle it. How do you fix 121,000 people? How did you clean and have that space? How do you have such a high frequency that it's 18 different people trying to lower your frequency? Your job is not to fight the 18 people. It's not even your job to fight the 18 million people. Your job is to keep your frequency high. Thank you for the gift. Thank you. Your job is to keep your frequency high. Your job is to keep yourself loved. So here are the secret frequencies on stuff to say on how to beat stuff. And so I'm going to do 2 that keep you highest. Love, highest frequency. It will burn stuff off like sunlight in a vampire movie. Joy and laughter, right? But in between love and joy and laughter, gratitude. but true gratitude. Kind of like even when you mean it, when you thank the villain. Thank you so very much. That fills you up, increase your frequency, and kick their butt. Partially because they're confused of why did you just thank them when they just harmed you. Secondly, gratitude is sometimes hard to reach when somebody's doing something crazy, right? So you just be like, oh, I really, 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 really want to slap you. But I'm not going to slap you because I'm not going to lower my frequency, which is why I wrote this book called Slapping Demons, because it wasn't about. Now remember, most book titles are made for the book to be exciting when you read the title, right? But it's not about slapping demons. It's about not slapping demons. Got it? The book called Slapping Demons is to explain to you that there are forces made on the planet to slap the demon for you. So if you don't lower your frequency to slap something evil that showed up to do harm, and you step back and you are in gratitude and love and joy, everything way bigger, way darker that has ever loved you or never met you will show up and kick that thing's butt. And they'll swear it was you. And you know what? It was. It was you because you stayed loved. It was you because you stayed kind. It was you because people tried to starve you. It was you because people gave you a broken stove. It was you because people sent evil to your house. It was you because people sent spells and hex and curses. It was you because you saved the lives of people with spells and hex and curses. And Christians try to say, oh, you evil, why they being racist? It was you. But it has to be you in the frequency you want. Otherwise, you got tricked. So love, stay love, thank everybody for everything. Right? Because that brings reinforcement. Because what it does is it's like if 10 people are standing one place and one is bright and sparkly, and then all of a sudden bright and sparkly gets brighter, it shows up like a beacon. Thank you, sweetheart. It shows up like a beacon of, hey, the light. Not you, not your name. The light is in trouble. And all the stuff, light and dark, see, that's why you shouldn't be judgmental and silly, because light and dark protect light. Shows up and starts slaying and kicking butt like you wouldn't believe, right? You start feeling sorry for the villains. But don't feel sorry. Number one, because that'll lower your frequency, because regret lowers your frequency, lying lowers your frequency, anger lowers your frequency. So if you stay at those top three, now here's the tips. If you don't give in to anger, the thing that wants to jump in your space and be a part of your body can't come in, and stuff that might be put there from who you dated or who you slept with or who slept with you without your choice, however that works out, it leaves your space. So let's say your parents initiate you into something when you're a little baby, so you don't feel you had a choice. If you never hold grudges against anyone, you will not have a space that will allow it to stay. It will feel uncomfortable, which is why some people smoke. Most people that smoke anything is a Chinese medicine belief, right? It fills your space. But when I started doing Chinese medicine, God kept telling me accommodation. It's easier. Okay. It's easier for accommodation. What that means is you're a more suitable host. And so it's not because you smoke, it's you smoke because something's there and trying to use you as the host. You see? That's why I stopped going to one church, because every single week they had deliverance, and every single week, no talking about God or Jesus, only talking about demons and deliverance. And then with my work and my clients and how I help them, guess what? Sometimes I had the vocabulary change too, and my friends would be like, Mia, what the heck is wrong with you? Why do you talk about that stuff? And I say, well, it doesn't matter. I know. That's why you got to put that and that one. So because even if you screw it down, it still doesn't go enough. So when you realize that your vocabulary changed, you have to also test to see, did your life change? So don't fake it till you make it. All those people that say stuff like fake it till you make it, if you do the work, they all are lying. And they all know they're lying. And you know what they're lying about? Spiritual growth, spiritual awareness, and spiritual skills. They don't have any. They might have made a deal and they can see in your space, so they tell you a little something, but they can't tell you anything that advances you. Because when people, if you make a deal, you see from where you made the deal's ability and down. Which means if you didn't make the deal with something upper level, you're not going to see the other stuff that is also a truth. You're not going to see the other stuff that is a possibility. You're not going to see the other realities that are happening, right? So when I wrote that book, Slapping Demons, you think I wanted to name a book Slapping Demons? I didn't even know demons was a real thing. When I wrote that book, God told me, name it that so people won't turn to anger. Name it that so people understand. Sometimes people make you want to slap them so that you can be evil. So there's something make you slap them. And I'm not saying that I have never hit a person. Because when you grew up in a lab, let me tell you something. You're trained. And you're trained for certain things, right? And that is one of the things you get trained. But you get like a little switch. Turn it on and turn it off. So anger is not controlling you. Pain is not controlling you. You see, people are not controlling you. So usually when we get that feeling like, oh, you want to slap somebody, something is controlling you. And the something that is controlling you wants to control you full time. And right now, this goes in the back. There should be two, not these two. Maybe it's under there already. You see? So when you learn that is a secret, the secret is, if it's not love, it's not God. Why do people convince you to think stuff that's not love is God? So you won't trust God. So that when you need help and you don't want the deal you made anymore, you don't have a way to kick the thing out. Right? Oh, this right here. Look. Thank you. I was going to say I'll sweep the other part. So, that still needs it, huh? Okay. So imagine people coming for almost 2 years and break stuff and act like it's you. And then you just keep on say, thank you so much, being love. And I don't mean being stupid. Only people that can't figure out why their vibe is so low think it's stupid, right? When I'm telling you, it's the secret to the high vibe. Also, the high vibe is like the sun in the vampire movie, which means being high vibe, being high vibe, while they think, oh, you're so stupido, you're so nice and so sweet, you're so stupid. No, I know what's coming for you because I'm nice. And I know that it burn you like the sun in a vampire movie. You're going to turn to ashes or you're going to get vacated, right? And I have met, loved, been friends, love like brother or sister, love like, the love of your, I don't believe love of your life because I believe that there's more than one love of life, right? Where you match somebody, sometimes you just meet them and you love them because they are crazy, but you think it's funny. Or because they are a little mean or surly or even a little evil, but you don't judge them for it. And they are so enamored that they are a whole different creature than just the monster they were born to be, right? So when you choose love, people think I'm stupid. You'll see my videos. Choose love. I am telling you a super sword. I'm not telling you a regular sword. I'm telling you how you can go to festival for 17 years and teach like I did and not realize you're the only person there and not evil. Because even the evil people pretended to be good so that I would be okay coming to festival because they like having a place at festival where they felt safe and it felt nice to be. Okay? So it wasn't like I ran and said, ooh, let me surround myself by evil. I didn't do that. But what I did do is I made sure that I didn't judge people, and people that would have been judged, you know what they did? They pretended for me not to be villain. They pretended for me to be nice. They pretended so I could be there.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Mia,
Wait.
I gotta go to the store.
Okay.
Okay? I'll be back. I need to move it to my truck, but I'm working here.
Okay.
Okay?
Good.
No leaving.
Not leaving. Good.
Okay. I'm fixing the doors, okay?
Perfect.
Okay. I'll be back. I need to move my car. When you clean the floor.
I think it looking good. Finally. That little part might need something for at night.
Yeah.
The transition.
Yeah, I put it in the trash can.
Yeah, but it looks so good. Even this is nothing because well matched.
Yeah.
See? Try to leave.
Yeah. You want to put it in the trash can or it's fine for you?
I think threshold for the gap of just as a homeowner.
Yeah.
You don't know what a
Yeah,
gap.
because I need to put it in the round and
Yeah.
put it cooking line.
Yeah,
I put the cooking on the round.
yeah. Or quarter inch wood.
No, she's no I know I put only cooking.
Okay, well then this can have caulking too.
No, I put it in the trash can.
But if you put caulking here, then that just to close so no dust go under and harm the floor.
Okay, I'm putting
So
it.
yeah, caulking works here because if you put the threshold, it's gonna make a thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I put it cooking.
Yeah.
Okay, but everything is fair, right?
Finally,
See?
look at all this. This was
Yeah.
not marked. See how that's brand new,
Yeah.
but
yeah,
it's
but
okay.
but the problem is in the walls.
I know.
Yeah, right.
Imagine it would have been way worse than
Yeah,
this.
you put the dining table here.
Yeah, it would have been every single floor
Uh,
in here. 75 hours,
yeah.
3.5 days, moving. There's video. The water moving so fast
Yeah, I know.
made a whole lake 7 inches tall,
Okay.
7 inches deep
Okay.
in here.
I'll be back. Okay.
Okay.
I'm moving my car because it's late. It's on the ticket on $108.
Where are you? Because we don't even have that kind of. We don't.
Yeah, I have my truck over there because it's in the 2 hours. I need to move it.
There's no
Okay,
meter.
The ticket is $188.
No. Way too much. Okay, so I will change my schedule and I will stay for the afternoon too because I wasn't expecting you guys today, but
Oh, you can't.
it's okay.
Get it in?
no, I'm waiting. I'm gonna be here
Okay.
because I've been waiting for months
Yeah,
for
okay.
them to not just say they're coming and don't come or come and leave.
Oh. Hold on.
So I will be here. I'm gonna just wait.
Hang on.
I'll be here as long as you need me to be here. This will be what I do today. Well, my day starts at 5, so I already did most of my work. So what time you need, I will be here. So imagine people been torturing people for 32 years and laughing about it. So if you think that this is nothing and this is stupid, when I say you say thank you to everyone for everything they do, even if they're villain, remember, because something's going to show up and kick their butt like they never saw it before in life. Just like sometimes you are the thing, I am the thing that show up and kick a villain's butt like nothing else anybody ever saw. You see? Wait.
Yeah, it's manager Sonia.
Oh.
She's talk to you.
Oh, my love, Sonia's your love.
Yeah, it's my wife.
Yes, yes, my love.
Hi, Mia. Good morning.
Hi,
How are you?
good
This
morning.
is Sonia.
I'm good.
Good. Mia, what I was hoping to ask, would it be okay with you for the plumbers to stop by between 2 to 4 today?
Yeah, I sacrificed my day, so I've already just say I'll just be here. But I don't know if you're dropping off the notice, but believe you me, one gave 3 hours notice. it was on the ground on my floor. One gave 12 hours notice, and one was stuck to my door and pulled the ink off of my art.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, so I don't know if you're the person bringing them, but what it says on the paper is not what's happening in the reality.
So to confirm, the notice should have been a 120-hour notice to enter.
Yeah, but the one
For yesterday.
so the 120 hours was for yesterday, right?
Yes.
But it says it served on 9/10, but it didn't get served till 9/13.
I need to put my car. Sorry.
Okay. Do you want to leave it?
Yes, only the plumbing schedule.
And so it didn't get served 9/10. It got left on 9/13. I know because I go in and out unless it's a day where I don't leave at all, right? So that's the only way we can lose one day, but we can't lose 3 days because I have to go. I have to go help people. I have to go eat. Right?
Yeah, so I can double check.
Yeah,
the notice.
Maybe that's when you're leaving it, but that's not when it's being left. And one time, the one where I said was on the floor, I saw it in the morning when I left, and I said, "Oh, I'll get it when I come home." And I came home and it was gone.
Give me 1 second. I need to move my car.
Okay.
I have confirmation for the plumbing, okay?
Okay, I'll wait. So you say thank you because look at all those people that made those news stories, you guys. 32 years people did this. I didn't like when people lie on me. I don't lie. I have a lot of honor. But I knew, don't take it personally when somebody lies on me, and that might help another person. So I said, thank you very much. Keep my vibration. Because my vibration saves people's lives. So it doesn't only belong to me. I can't lose it. Got it? First, I couldn't lose it because I had to protect my kidnapped child's soul. Secondly, I couldn't lose it because I had to keep my vibration so I can help save lives. Then I had to keep it so I can keep my wits about me, meaning never lose my IQ, never lose my mind, never lose my patience, so I can figure out how to profile people that had hundreds of millions of dollars, $50 million, $17 million, that were harming children. And I knew my brain can map it out so that the people who can stop them can understand how to put the evidence and map it together and sometimes find the evidence for them. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow. And when I talk to you tomorrow, it's just going to be tips. So have a notebooks, okay? Have notebooks on stuff to do because so many people keep having so much broken heart and so many people are trying to break people's hearts. So we're going to do the combo, okay? The 1-2 punch. You're going to add the light in the world and the goodness in the world, and you're going to keep your space high frequency and clean. And if you bloodline, you could just be a better monster, okay? Ciao.